Hey there, everyone. This is Christina with Sandy Prince Photography, and you are listening to our new podcast, Boss Ladies in Lace, the show where we talk about all things women-related, including boudoir, empowerment, and self-transformation. On today's episode, we are talking about self-investments. We are going to discuss what value we see when we look into ourselves and how to become more self-aware. It is important to invest in ourselves, and we often forget that. So, thanks for joining us today, and let's go ahead and get started. So typically, when looking at investments, the total amount a person has to spend is the number one deciding factor in almost anything. Am I right? By far, it is the question that gets jumped to immediately with new and prospecting clients. And it's not even just for boudoir. My wedding and general portrait clients also focus largely on the investment total and process when making their final decision on booking a vendor. But unlike booking a wedding or booking a family portrait session, an investment into a boudoir session is 100% an investment into yourself. The boudoir session is all about you, your raw, natural beauty, and your personality displayed as timeless, tasteful images. Boudoir is typically a little more of an investment, and many clients are left on the fence about it, but that is okay. Today, I'm going to dig a little deeper with you, and we're going to talk about self-investment and what value you find when you look within yourself. These two typically go hand in hand. A large majority of people struggle to find true value in themselves. So if you too struggle with this, please don't feel alone. Typically, when we struggle to see value in ourselves, we do not go out of our way to invest in ourselves. It leaves us feeling unworthy, or another way of looking at it is not being able to justify the spending. This is more common than you think, and we sadly live in a world where so many people struggle with self-esteem, self-care, and self-love because they don't feel worthy enough. I, too, have struggled with seeing self-value, and at one point in my life, I struggled so badly that it affected basically every area of my life. I struggled with basic things like buying clothes or shoes for myself. It didn't even matter if it was something I really needed versus wanted. I just didn't feel worthy, and I couldn't justify the spending. I also had many passions about schooling and a degree and what I wanted to do in my career. But I actually delayed going to college by a few years because of the cost. I did eventually pull the trigger on classes and had a good year and a half of positive momentum. Somewhere after that, life got a little crazier. Things were rough and money was tight. I again convinced myself that I was not worthy of the investment of the classes and the stress on my family and myself with our schedule to continue my classes. So they stopped. My degree then just sat unfinished, and it has ever since. This is just one example of how a small decision had a large impact on my life, but I also suffered in many other ways for many more years. At the time, making those decisions, changing the course of my life, and putting my needs last to benefit everyone else just seemed so normal. It was not worrisome to me at all. Now, when I look back, it is so clear that I had so much more potential and could have followed my dreams. But I chose not to because deep down, my lack of self-worth was the root of all evil. I did not value myself enough to realize my dreams and my passions were just as equally important. So here's the truth in all of this. You and I are not alone. Many don't realize how common this is, especially for women. Life went by and my knowledge of self-worth grew. I became more apparent that the lack of self-worth was the core of many people's actions. And now I'm able to identify it and see it more obviously than others could. I'd see it everywhere, and I still watch many women struggle with the feeling of worthiness and investing in themselves. To change this way of thinking, it takes time. It is not an overnight change and is truly a life journey. An amazing step to creating and seeing more value in yourself can be done by way of boudoir portrait sessions. I know. The clients, though, that have journeyed through the boudoir experience come out on the other side very thankful to themselves for pulling the trigger and investing in their self-reconnection. I know many other boudoir photographers as well, and we all can share that this is one of the most empowering experiences to watch, and our main goal in shooting boudoir is to help women find that reconnection. When you two are ready for your very own portrait session for Boudoir, I'd love to connect with you further, look at what your session may entail. Until then, I hope my short story of my personal experience and will be an inspiration to you and help challenge yourself and your way of thinking. You are worthy of self-investment. You are worthy in total, and I hope you go out today and do something special for yourself. You have been chatting with Christina from Sandy Prince Photography on the new Boss Ladies in Lace podcast. I hope you enjoyed the short episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe and share the show with anyone you may feel may enjoy or benefit from our content. Until next time.